That's right. How you doing this afternoon? Hey, I'm Ann Eller. Just been over to the Greenwood, to the G. Frank Russell Technology Center. Got to see a little preview about if you go to the event over there, their open house, what you'll be able to see, what you'll be able to experience. They've got giveaways. They've got good food in the culinary arts section. They've got, they're going to be doing sports wrapping. They've got cosmetology, biomedical. They have all these different things that students can learn, give them such an opportunity to succeed in life and decide what they like and what they don't like. So just was over there, posted a live video a little while ago, and we've got a bunch of videos and pictures that we'll be posting later too. But this afternoon, it's all about the road to life. Brenda Feece, the executive director of Crossroads Women's Center, is here this afternoon. We're going to be talking about that little event they're doing with Tim Tebow right here in Greenwood, not on the screen, but right here in the over there at Lander. That's coming up on the 16th. You're going to want to hear all about it. If you haven't gotten your tickets, you need to get your tickets. So please make plans to be there for this. Really is going to be a fantastic event. How you doing this afternoon, Brenda?
I'm doing great, and we are very excited to finally be able to have Tim Tebow right here in Greenwood and to be able to share with everybody, our community, what we're doing at Crossroads and the impact that Crossroads is making in the area. But just it's a dream to be able to have Tim Tebow, him come tell his story and about what he's doing now. So it's more than just saving a life. It's about the impact that each and every person can have. And he certainly is a great example of that.
Yes, excuse me. If I remember the story, they actually wanted his mother to have an abortion because she was sick or something?
Yes, they were missionaries in the Philippines, and when she was pregnant with Tim, she contracted some type of dysentery, and the doctor on the Smile Island told her that would probably be best for her if she would have an abortion. They took her to the mainland, and a Christian doctor, was able to help her through the pregnancy, and he was small, very small, I guess, when he was born, and I'll tell you,
he's a big guy now.
They must have fed him some puppy chow or something.
Right.
Yes. So he, every life matters, whether you're a Tim Tebow or whether you're some little girl that grew up in the country in Indiana like Brenda Feece. Everybody has an important part in life.
Absolutely. And, you know, the more you find out about those that their lives have been saved when there was a question that it wasn't, to find some of the people that the magnificence of their life. I mean, that's the big stories that you hear about, but it's the everyday stories that really affect all of us much more.
Yes, and I'm sure you have run into people in public. I remember cleaning people's teeth and listening to some of their stories, and I met a gentleman, I can't remember his name, here locally. He was in his 90s. He was all bent over, and he happened to teach helicopter pilots in Vietnam how to fly and how to crash. So he would get them up about 20 feet off the ground, tell them to cut the motor, and then they would hit the ground. And he said, that's what happened to my back. And he was fascinating to listen to. Met a woman in a park up in New York, had numbers on her arm. And she was in Poland during the Holocaust. And so people, every person, if you take the time and you live in the moment and you ask questions about them, you can learn a lot, really, really learn a lot and appreciate people.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we're going to talk about Tim Tebow, but we want to talk a little bit. I mean, you and Haven
yes.
were on a couple of weeks ago giving us all kinds of updates as to what actually goes on at the Greenwood Women's Center right here on Durst Avenue. But what do you, if you had to sum it up, and you read a nice article in the Index Journal yesterday, but if you were going to sum up, what is the Greenwood Women's Center about?
Well, I could quote our mission statement once again, but you can read that on the internet. One of the things that we feel is most important is giving somebody the space to make a decision and let them know there's time to decide, and then giving them all of their options so that they make an informed choice. And you've seen the sign in the back door that says you're not alone. And so the board members, the volunteers, the staff, we're there to be support to people so that they're not alone making that decision, and then supporting them once they choose life, because as you know, bringing a child into the world, you need support.
Exactly, exactly. And I think you really have that covered. And I tell you what else I like, Brenda, is the educational aspect that you help them with.
Yes, it's we can see them until the baby is 2. So basically for 3 years. So it's prenatal, postnatal, fatherhood classes, and then life skill classes. So they can learn how to keep track of their money, to plan, and then help those that haven't even finished high school or don't have their GED to be able to get their GED, to get enrolled at Piedmont Tech, Lander, do the bridge programs. So we've helped all kinds of young people in that. And we started a program called Pathways to Prosperity. And I'm really proud of that because we financially support those that qualify in their endeavors to finish their education. Because as you know, it's not as if you have to have a doctorate to make money, but you do have to have some kind of living.
You have to have some skills.
Have some skills. And you talked about the Russell Technology Center. What a beautiful thing for our community to have for our young people. Lander University is a wonderful place, but I just met somebody there that just went for 4 years, and now they're going to go into some type of radiology so they can get a job to make money. So, just being able, Haven, who was here the other week, she used to work at Piedmont Tech and coach young people into what they really need to go into. They would test them, see what their skills are, see what their interests are, and then follow them through their education. And so that's actually something she does really well with our clients and teaches the client advocates to do also. So we listen to them. Even they're taking a prenatal class. You know how it is, Anne. You're sitting there talking and having dinner or eating breakfast with somebody, and you're not necessarily going to talk about what you came there to talk about, but you find out the other things about them and their dreams. And a lot of women think that because you're pregnant, your dreams are over. And of course, that's not true. That's not
Absolutely,
true.
absolutely. So, and the very fact that they can earn credits to be able to buy things on the up there in the attic on the second floor there, that's pretty cool.
Yes. We just had, you're not going to believe this, but we just had 3 sets of twins.
Well, that should have depleted things a lot.
It did. So if I can make a plea to anybody who might be hearing, we've had 2 sets of girls and 1 set of boys. And is that how you say that? And then the little guys are still in the ICU, so they're still really, really little. But if somebody would like to donate some clothes, we could use, I think they want matching things, but they don't have to be, Ralph Lauren or anything big. You just some onesies that match would be great. And you can drop
those off. How old are those twins that are out of the NICU?
Well, the one set that was born in December,
3 or 4 months.
Yes, they're not terribly small, but they're still pretty small. So if you're thinking about donating some clothes, make it 3 to 6, 6 to 9, or 9 to 12. And just some simple things like onesies would be great. We're getting ready to go into the summer, and they don't need a lot, especially here in the South.
Right. Less is more.
little warm. And then the little guys are the ones that are still in the ICU, so they're still pretty small. And so if somebody's listening and they would like to help in some way, and listen, you don't have to go buy out Walmart. Just drop just one outfit. One set of matchies.
Would be pretty cool.
Oh yes, absolutely. But the one thing I will say is that we don't give things away, and that's very important to help people out of poverty. We make everyone read the book Bridges Out of Poverty, And it was an eye-opener to me, because you think you're doing good by just handing things out. But we all have pride. And when people learn they can earn things and go up there and buy things, it makes a big difference. It's a wonderful program. I didn't invent it. It was already there. I just kind of stepped into.
So how are they able to earn, really it's credits to buy with, right?
Through these classes. So
what kind of classes?
They're through a course called online called Bright Course, and it comes digitally to their phone. So they watch a video on their phone, and then they meet with their client advocate either by phone, through a Zoom meeting, or in person, and then that's how they earn the points. And that's true with the girls or the guys. And so we make it very easy for them to, remotely get an education, so it's not as if they have to come in. But it's interesting. A lot of people will start out remotely, but once they get to know their client advocate, we have some awesome volunteers, then they want to meet with them at the house. And you've been to the house, and you see why they want to meet at the house.
Yeah, it's Grandma's house. Yeah.
And we always have something for them for them to eat, and it's just a lot of fun. We're meeting people from our community, and like I said before, every person has a story, and every person counts. And so this little person inside of them, you don't know that they won't be the next governor of our state. We were just talking about who's running for governor.
Sure.
May not be the next governor of our state, or maybe the next Dean of Men over here at Lander, or do a job where, we all love to go get our cars fixed. We need good mechanics. I mean, this is the thing. We just don't think of every life as being valuable.
But they are. They absolutely are.
They are.
Now, Tim Tebow's coming, but Women's Crossroads Center has some big, lofty goals, don't they?
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up, Ann. This year, I'm going to turn to the page. We actually are having our programs printed. I'm so excited about this, to finally get this all done. But it is a 3-year capital campaign project. And I got to get a second here.
They're going to close in their garage, their carport, I guess, really, right?
Yes, for the carport. And so what we're actually talked about in our last year planning meeting with the board is we're actually going to have somebody come in and assess what we're using this space for. So we have the downstairs with offices, ultrasound rooms, so it's a mix of medical and office, and then upstairs the baby boutique, and then we have that unfinished attic. So we're going to have somebody come in and assess what we're using it for, and then kind of rethink what we need to do in enclosing that carport and actually put out there. So that will be that. We're extending our services to McCormick County, and Self Regional just gave us a $25,000 grant for another nurse, and they gave us 2 used ultrasound machines. And so we're ready to go as soon as we get done with this event. If somebody's looking for a part-time job and looking for a nurse who's willing to learn to do ultrasounds, and they'll be working with Allie Odell. If you know Allie, talk to Allie and say, hey, I want to work with you. She's great. And we'll be doing that. And then we had already started a clinic in Abbeville. So we need money to fund all the things that go in along with that. Oh my goodness. Please forgive me. My brain is a little fried.
You got a lot going on.
Week out from the event. No, definitely.
But I thought it would be good for people to know, because this is a big fundraiser for you all. And really, people have been very generous in donating and sponsoring and doing all these things.
Yes. Do you mind if I mention a few of our sponsors, Ann? These people are incredibly generous. First of all, the Alan Hughes family, Alan and Tanya Mariel, thank you very much. Alan is chairman of our board, and he's a man that puts his money where his mouth is. And we're very thankful. We want to thank Satterfield Construction, Gene and his family, and they have supported us from the very beginning. I want to thank Vicki and Gordon Mayfield, Tranquility Point, Schmoyer and Company, Stoll Trailers, The Range. I can't wait to go over there. I haven't been over there other than to ask if they would do a sponsorship. I walked in and man, smelled the food in that little cafe. Whew.
Yeah.
Modern Woodman, they and Alan are also doing a matching donation that night. So if you give $50, it turns into $100. If you do $100, it turns into $200. So you can double your impact that night through these matching donations. Westside Baptist Church, MLZ Excavating, Ray and Kathy Sarton, Abbeville First Bank, Western Carolina, 96 Ministerial Association, Representative John and Dana McCravey, Thomas and Kathy Plowden, and then our friends at Crossroads, the Greenwood County Republican Party, State Farm, Bobby Patterson, Town and Country, Proudfoot Roll-Offs, my father-in-law, my sweet father-in-law, Everett Feece, Mike and Rosemary Mallon, John and Martha Hancock, Phil and Julie Harris, and then Emerald Promo Group. I love Lindsay. She's helped us print all of our T-shirts. We have T-shirts for sale. Of course, Ann Eller at WCRS, and Wyatt Farms is helping us with plants on the stage that night. So every single one of these people are people we know and very generous and have helped us more than 1 year in a row.
Well, it takes a lot to do that. I'm sure that project that you're looking at is not a little drop in the bucket, is it?
No, I don't. It's hard to estimate over a 3-year period and what's going to need to be done, but kind of a round number in our head, we're hoping to maybe raise $250,000. I don't know if it'll come in all that night, but hopefully in the months following, so we can get started. We had hoped to do this last year, but we just didn't have enough money come in, and so you can't. We only have $70,000 left on the mortgage on the house.
Wow, and that's terrific.
Yes, it is, and we've only been there 5.5 years, so we don't want to go into debt because we're already in debt. So
that's terrific. Well, why did you want to bring Tim Tebow here?
Because of his story. And it's interesting to me that God allowed us to bring Pam here first to really...
His mother.
His mother when she was here, and really meet her and hear on a personal level his story. And then it made me want to have him even more. So it's his personal story, and then just the impact that he's having right now. I don't know how many people know about the Tim Tebow Foundation. You can look that up on the website, on his website. Anne did the Night to Shine. She was the MC for Night to Shine.
It was fabulous.
At Legacy City. He does that. He's working right now with stopping the child predators and sex trafficking. I've watched him a lot on YouTube, and I've watched him testify before Congress, and he had a board up. And he had lit up on that board all the IP addresses of people watching child porn while he was testifying.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Over 30,000 lights had lit up there while he was testifying.
How do people have this type of time? That's what I want to know.
Well, and then somebody donated, I believe, 3,000 acres up in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, and he's building a camp there for people to come for healing and all kinds of things you can read about on his website. So the things that he's doing, and then I think he's speaking at a different place every day the week that we have him. And so he's written, I forget the most recent book he written, but the book I got last November, we'll be having some of those available at the VIP event, called Look Again. And it's just very impactful, the things that he writes and the people he can get out to. The other thing I think is pretty remarkable is that he chose God over a career in the NFL. He didn't ruin it. God chose to move him out of it. But when he wrote John 3:16 underneath his eyes, I think he was one of the first ones, I think, to be open about his faith.
Right.
And I think he paid the price for it. But God moved him. He's still on ESPN, I think, that with the SEC
Right.
and gets to do all of that. And so his love of sports is still there. But I really think a lot.
Sports that gave him the opportunity to be able to do that without, because it takes a lot of money to do the type of things that he's doing.
Yes. And so the speaking engagement, I think, is what helps fund these things that he's doing with the Tim Tebow Foundation. In fact, I know that it is. And so I, just as a young person, I have children his age, and I know his mom is just very proud of him, not necessarily for his sports career, but what he's doing with his life to impact people.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, have you met Tim Tebow before?
No, I have not.
Okay. And he's not going to be on a screen when he comes here, right?
No, he's not. No,
he's going to be live flesh in person.
Yes. And Cal Productions, thank you very much. They are going to be helping with the sound. They're down at the Masters right now, and they do a lot for Clemson Athletics. So if you need anything sound-wise, look them up. They're on the internet, and they're a big deal. And we're very thankful to have them.
And they live right here in Greenwood, or at Hodges, I think it actually is.
Yes.
So that will make a difference. I know that you suffered some last year with Ben Carson. He was not able to be heard, and so this year you wanted to make sure it absolutely was perfect sound.
Yes. And Dr. Carson's pretty soft-spoken. Tim is not.
Right.
And I think we talked about that. Just Tim having, a booming voice and things like that. So I'm very thankful that will be dealt with this year, and we'll have much better.
Well, he is a football player, so I mean, you got to have a big voice for that, right? I mean,
big booming voice.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I'd be interested to know why his interest in children. I mean, that is nothing. I'm not saying anything wrong, but of all the things one could choose, why did one choose children, and now rescuing children from this, a very lofty goal and everything. But you just kind of wonder why people are driven in the direction that they go.
That's a really good question for him. When Pam was here, she was telling me how they started the orphanages in the Philippines. Her husband was in another country, and there were children for sale in the street. And so I wonder if it came from his dad,
right,
in his travels. And then, they grew up in the Philippines. And so I think, with seeing children, I don't know where they were, but just seeing children not having, gave him a real perspective on life.
Probably so.
If you think about the Jesus' example in the New Testament, when he said the disciples were like, "Hey, kids, don't bother him."
Right.
I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
And he was like, "Come on, let the children come to me." And so I think it's very Christ-like. I'm into children and saving babies. I always said my husband is a baby magnet. He's very good with babies, and he loves babies. And if he ever gets a baby in his arms, he will not give it up. We have 10 grandchildren, and we were always fighting over them. So.
Well, when you look at what you do as far as saving lives and everything, I know you brought some pictures of some of the babies that have been born.
I was just thinking about that. I should pick these up. So
that's cute.
This is baby Jude. I don't know. I'm not going to know all of their names. This is baby Jude, and this is one of our precious moms.
Now, are these recent or?
Yes, these are 2025.
2025 babies. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Look at that face.
And her name is Reason.
Reason.
Yes.
She was the reason?
Yes.
Yes.
She's a very good reason. There's a story there. This little guy, his name is Jireh, as in Jehovah Jireh, one of the names of God.
Right. It's a beautiful child.
And I don't know all their names.
Right.
I'm sorry. I get that sometimes when I'm trying to name off people I know even. And then I love this. I never saw this little outfit. Love you to the moon and back. Isn't that adorable?
Yes, that is.
So I didn't bring them all in. I didn't want to be that grandmother
pulling out the pictures.
The great big book of pictures.
Right. So, how many babies were born last year through
Through Crossroads, about 26.
Wow.
About 26. So we saw about 170 clients, and about 20 of those were guys. And so we saw about 112 new clients last year just doing pregnancy tests and ultrasounds. But not everybody needs the program.
Right.
And so, they come in and you get a free pregnancy test and ultrasound. We refer you to the doctor, get you signed up for insurance and things. And so not everybody stays in the program. So we impact a lot of lives. And as far as babies being born, of course, some of these babies that were born, they were really seen the moms were seen in 2024. So
Sure.
it's always hard to track things, but yeah, that's the crowning moment is when they bring them in after they're born and you get to hold them. I think of the verse that says, "You will reap if you faint not."
Right.
Yes, and that's true for them too.
Well, I think people do need time to think. And I think sometimes people are rushed or they just feel there is no hope.
And that is another thing is the hope part. Where would we be in life without some kind of hope?
Exactly. Exactly. And everybody in all stages of life deals with things that are crushing, the death of a spouse getting very ill. And you look at life and you try to say, well, how can I make it, or how could this have happened? I mean, this is all part of it.
Yes, and you've experienced that. You know very well what that's like to be faced with that. Yes.
So I think we look at that as all stages of life. But when you look at these children, and how is the feeling of the girls that have this joy of having this baby that maybe they were thinking about they would have an abortion?
Well, do you mind me reading a couple of testimonies we have
No,
in the
sure.
little program? So I won't read the whole thing. So Juliana put, "Through Crossroads, I felt encouraged, supported, and truly cared for. It gave me such a sense of peace and direction when I needed it most. The people there showed me kindness without judgment, and that made a lasting impact on me. It reminded me that God's timing is always right, and that He places the right people in your life when you need them."
That's pretty impactful.
It is. Let me just go ahead and read another testimony. This is Ellis's testimony. "Choosing life didn't hold me back. It rebuilt me." Don't you love that?
Yeah, that's true.
She said, "There was a time in my life when I was faced with a decision that felt overwhelming and honestly terrifying. I was already navigating a painful and unhealthy relationship, carrying emotional weight, and trying to hold everything together for my children. The thought of bringing another child into that situation felt impossible. I remember the fear so clearly, the pressure, the uncertainty, the feeling of how am I going to do this? But in the middle of all of that, something in me couldn't let go. Deep down, I knew I couldn't choose abortion. Choosing life didn't make things easier overnight. It forced me to face everything head on. I had to make hard decisions, walk away from what was hurting me, and rebuild my life from the ground up. There were seasons where I was simply surviving, doing the best I could to create a safe, stable life for my children. But over time, what once felt like too much became my reason to grow. My children didn't hold me back. They became the reason I pushed forward."
Is that the one that named their child Reason?
No.
Okay.
But you get the point.
Right.
Yes. So Ellis started a skincare place. She said, "Today I'm the founder of Skin by Ellis, a business I built during the hardest seasons of my life." So there's the whole career thing.
Right.
They think their career's over, their life's over. She didn't stop at the obstacles. She pushed through it. It represents more than just what I do. It represents healing, rebuilding, and stepping into who I was meant to be. God carried me through every part of it, and now I can look back and see that choosing life didn't just change my child's story. It transformed mine. If you're in a place where everything feels heavy and unclear, I want you to know this. Your situation is not your final destination. Let me say that again. Your situation is not your final destination. You can rebuild, you can heal, and you can create a life filled with peace, purpose, and love. And then at the end she says, my hardest season became my greatest testimony. Isn't that precious?
That is precious. And that goes for not only somebody in the throes of what to do with this life, it's actually good life advice.
It is.
Because we're all in different places in our lives.
Yes, yes. So when a lot of people don't know these people. It's a privilege when they come in and they're in a puddle of tears. God gives you the vision that this person is important. Their children are important. The people in their life are important. I clean up. All of us over there, we clean up and we show up. And that's, I think, what's missing from a lot of our young people's lives is people don't show up for them.
That's true.
They don't show up for them. It's not true
and we think that everything is on that phone.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the answer has to be on your phone, right?
Yes, yes. So I know that took us a little bit of on a serious mode, but these are their testimonies from what goes on down there. I don't take the credit. I can't take the credit. I really feel like if I took the credit, God would strike me dead.
No.
There'd be lightning down from the sky.
But you're there to listen. But you're there to listen. And that is so much in today's world. People don't listen. There's a saying that I read and I always remember is that people, when somebody is talking, the person sitting over there listening is actually thinking what they can say next. So they're never really listening to what's being said to them. And I think that's very true.
It is very true. And a lot of people, these young people, don't hear her. They don't feel heard.
Mm-hmm. So the very fact that you make it comfy over there and you always can offer food, that's very enticing. You always have good cookies and you have lunch there. I mean, whatever time you show up, sometimes you might even get chocolate coffee. You just never know what's going to come up over there. And it's very peaceful. It's very peaceful over there, too.
Well, listen, life's too short and we just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Why not have a good time where you work?
Absolutely. So, if you know somebody that's in a situation, and they don't have to be, explain to us that the Crossroads Women's Center is not just for college kids or high school kids, is it?
No, anybody who finds themselves with an unexpected pregnancy. We've had a lot of married women come through and they just want to make sure they're pregnant before they go and tell anybody. Or we've even had people with miscarriages. They can't get into their doctor soon and they're pregnant and they just want to make sure everything's okay. Now we can't see everybody in the community, but if anybody really wants to know, we want to be able to help people settle that in their mind. We've had girls that have gone on to leave, and I'm thinking of one in particular, and she's had a couple of miscarriages, and so she's living 45 minutes away, and she called and she said, I'm really afraid, can I have an ultrasound? I said, of course, come on over and we'll do an ultrasound. And so this baby, she's doing really well. She finally got into her OB, but any kind of health care anywhere, really, not just in our area, is difficult to get in quickly, especially at a specialist. We all know that.
Sure.
So we feel very privileged to have Dr. Goldstein. He's a retired OB/GYN. Linda Goldstein is a retired nurse. Angela Darby is a retired nurse. And then Allie Odell is a young nurse that we've hired. And I got to talk a little bit about Allie. So Allie worked in the ER for a while, but then she was at the prison at McCormick.
Yeah. And
she is our hired nurse part-time. I wish Allie could be there all the time. She doesn't look tough, and she's not even, I don't even know if she's 30 years old yet, but she is wise past her years.
Right, I'll bet. Working in the prison, I'll bet so. Yeah.
So we're very thankful. that we have these people that are volunteering.
And you have a gal that is Hispanic.
We have a Spanish ministry, yes. So Gladys is director of our Hispanic ministry. She does a beautiful job. There's a support group on Tuesday mornings. They learn, Laura Zigran comes in and teaches English as a second language from 9 to 10. And then from 10 to 11, they either have a Bible class or a prenatal class. And then 11, they eat together. But some of the fun things that they've done was the girls are from different countries, and they'll cook for us sometimes. We cook for them, and they kind of pick around at the lasagna. I don't blame them. But it's exciting and fun to have them come and cook sometimes. So that's really fun. And we have some young men that are taking the classes too. And we just had our first volunteer male mentor that will start working with our Spanish guys.
That's
That
terrific.
is huge.
Now, I want to talk about that because the men, we think of quite often women going through this on their own, and men are an integral part. And what's going on with that, Brenda?
It's interesting. We always think about, the deadbeat dad. There are a lot of dads that aren't deadbeat dads, and they don't know how to be a good dad because they never had a dad.
Right.
So we have a men's program called Men of Valor. And one of our client advocates is Wes Williman, Haven's husband. He's a firefighter here in the area, and Wes is doing a great job with the young men that he sees. And then Ray Urbanic is training to be a client advocate, a male mentor. We call them client advocates. And then Rick Fox has just volunteered, that's Gladys's husband, to start helping out with some of these young men. So if you are bilingual and you're a guy and you would like to volunteer, I know Gladys would love to have you on the Spanish team to be able to be a mentor for some of these young men. And that's the future of our community. We're building families, and you need the man in the family. I'm not saying that you can't have a good family without a dad or a mom. But there's all kinds of research and statistics out there that talks about the family unit and why it's important. And I'm not here to argue. I'm just saying this is our community.
Right.
This is a future we're building
Sure.
for our community. And I'm excited that Crossroads can be a part of that. The medical part of it is really fun and kind of fun to do when it's free. I mean, you go to the doctor and you look at your bill. These girls walk out of there and it's free.
Right.
And
but you do have to qualify to be able to use the program.
You come in and you get a pregnancy test and an ultrasound, and if you choose to take the classes at that point. I wish we had more money and more volunteers. We would love to have all kinds of classes for people that are pregnant. That's a dream of ours, to possibly in the future be able to offer those types of classes. But we just can't do that right now.
Right. And they do, I mean, you get them signed up if they're qualified for Medicaid.
Call and get a WIC appointment. Figure out housing. We can't make any promises. We have partners in the area too, so there's choice at Pathway House. Some of the young women have to go to Megs. And we don't have a maternity home anymore in our area, and there are only 5 in our state, but we do try to get you. We have a 16-year-old now that's pregnant, and we're trying to get her into Florence Crittington down in Charleston. Danielle Horseman, our director of administration, has been working really hard, and it's a lot of phone call, a lot of time to try to work them in and get them into a place to stay. That's another thing that we're making a matter of prayer of how we can help these young people that find themselves pregnant in their teens and they're young. But I've met so many people in this since I've been doing this that said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I was, 16 when I was pregnant. I was like, no, I had no idea. And you know them and you know their kids. You just don't, ask everybody how old they are. So we don't judge. We don't say, well, they're 16, they shouldn't have got pregnant. Don't they know how that happens? I get tired of all people saying all of that sort of thing. Like, come on, people.
Right.
Just come alongside somebody and say, let's get this figured out. We
Right.
can help you get this figured out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's abortion, yes. People choose abortion. There, we can help you parent, and then there's adoption, and we've been privileged to assist in 2 adoptions, and the first one they ever did just totally blew me away. What a privilege! The young lady came in. She had twins, and then she came in, and make a long story short, she was pregnant for twins again.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought for sure she was going to go out and have an abortion, and God changed her mind. And Nightlight stepped in with the adoption. And the really remarkable thing that she put in her open adoption agreement was that if something happened to her, those new parents would have to adopt her daughters, so they would grow up with their brother and
So
sister.
the one she already had that she had kept.
Yes.
Yes.
And the way she had it arranged, they would already know each other because they get to visit certain times of the year. So they already know each other, which is beautiful. Open adoption, I had no idea there was something like that till I came into all this. And then with her, that opened up all of that. And then that's what led us to have Chelsea Cameron and emphasize that next year about open adoption. I'm like, everybody needs to know about open adoption. Who can we have?
Right.
And so that was really remarkable. And then we had another adoption. And so adoption, I had to learn, was we don't use the words giving up, because they don't really do that anymore. Yes, they do that, but they can see the child. They can see the child grow. And the child can find out who their parents are. And that's important too for the adopted child. So with their issues. So that's been a really fun thing that we've done.
Sure.
Very, very fun thing. But
Well, we're running out of time here. So what do we got about Tim Tebow? Come on, Tim Tebow. What's going to happen at the night? You've got VIP tickets, right?
well, we have a few that are open, or that are left. We thought they might be all gone, but we had a few of those open up. So the VIP ticket that night, you'll get to meet Tim. You'll get a signed copy of his book, Look Again, get a picture with them. And then there are heavy hors d'oeuvres. And the ticket price for that is $6.50. And that also includes reserved seating on the floor near the stage. So there are perks that come with that. And the food's going to be fantastic. Connie Rentz and Jerry are helping play in that whole VIP event. And if you know anything about Connie, I think she just did the debutante ball and these things, and it's just going to be beautiful, and the food's going to be amazing. But we have a few of those. The way to get that ticket is you have to email me. My first name, Brenda, all lowercase, BRENDA at C as in cat, P as in Paul, C as in cat, GWD.org. And once again, that's Brenda at cpcgwd.org. Or you can call Danielle at the office and leave me a message. 864-223-1147. 864-223-1147. And it's first come, first serve. So I have a handful of those if you'd like to meet Tim in person.
Not on the screen.
Not on the screen. Well, you'll be able to see him at Lander too, at the arena, but
right.
Yeah. And I'm so excited about everybody doing that. But I got to talk about some of the fun things that night.
Well, too, now, aren't you giving free tickets to students?
Yes, thank you, Ann. Very good. So, yes. So if you go to the event webpage, if you just type in Crossroads and Tim Tebow, or go to our Crossroads website, you'll be able to find out the information for the event. And you can buy tickets through there. And if you're 14 or above in high school, you get free tickets. Or if you're a college student, you can get free tickets. And then there are free tickets for Lander faculty and staff through that website too, if you're faculty and staff there at Lander. So we want to fill up that arena.
Right?
Yes.
That's a big arena.
It is a big arena. So some of the fun things that we're going to do that night is we're going to be doing a T-shirt toss. So we're going to be doing that again this year. And my friend Jason Bolin is going to bring some buddies, and they're going to fling some T-shirts with a balloon launcher
Right.
up in the stand, so you can get a free T-shirt. And then one of the things that we're trying to do is build up our monthly donors. Build up our monthly donor base. We're so thankful for those monthly donors that are so faithful to give. And you don't have to give a lot. We have some that are giving $10 a month. It's through PayPal, and you'll find out information about that night. But we have a really cool giveaway. So Max South, one of our board members, came up with this, and he's getting a Yeti cooler and putting some stash in it. And if you're a monthly donor already and you're listening, your name gets put in the kitty or the raffle for the free Yeti cooler. But if you want to become a monthly donor that night, we're also going to put your name in the kitty, and then we'll email you if you've won the Yeti cooler, which is really a fun way to get signed up and get a little something for signing up. And then the other big thing is at the very end of the night, everybody that's gotten their ticket through Ticket Stripe, we're putting your name in a kitty, and we're going to literally pull a name out of a jar, and you can win a free signed football by Tim Tebow.
Wow.
So a free signed Tebow, and that's at the very end of the program.
So you got to stay to the end, folks.
You got to stay to the end. And then I do want to mention who our host is, because so many people know Travis.
Right.
So if you know Travis Agnew, he was at Northside Baptist. He is now a pastor up in Greenville. He is going to be our MC.
How about that?
So we're really excited about having Travis help us with the night. So Travis gets to do all these fun things up there on the stage. So I think we've covered just about everything, Anne. I loved it that you gave me a chance to read their testimonies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think, we're always so busy. We don't take the time to slow down and talk about some of these issues, and they're not always, yes, she's got her Road to Life 2026 picture of Tim Tebow on it right there on the screen for you. But I think sometimes that if we would just slow down and really listen to each other, it would make such a difference in life. And I hope that you will be able to make it to this event. Now, it's next Thursday.
It's a week from tonight.
Yes.
And the theme for the night, I didn't mention at all, and I just am looking down at it. It's our theme for the year, and it's Live Fearlessly.
I love
Don't you love it? Live fearlessly. And it comes from 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power of love and of a sound mind.
That's terrific. Now, since we have a couple minutes here, we should talk about the painting that's over your desk, or right behind where you sit, and it's actually in the program that you'll get when you come. Now, tell us just a little bit about that, because I think that is so symbolic. I love, before you start, I love the fact when you walk into that old house, you don't actually use the front door, but it's like you're walking down a path to get to the front door.
Aww.
And I just think I think probably that if people walked through that door and had to walk down that path, it kind of gives you a idea of where you're going.
You're very poetic.
Oh no, I did.
You're
I
very poetic. I don't know if they can see that, but my friend Kelly Snelling, who is the director of the Healing Hearts program, she did this as a part of her healing. So Kelly had 2 abortions when she was young, and we were sitting at that kitchen table, and she said, "Hey, I want to paint you a painting," and I thought she was going to paint me some little painting, and Roland walked in and put this up on the wall. I'm like, whoa. I thought you were going to do some little painting, and
it's like 36 by 48 or something. It's huge. It's huge.
It's huge, and it's a picture of a path. And she is also, like you, thinks poetically. And there's a crossroad in this picture. There's a place where you've got to pick which road you're going to go down.
2 roads diverged in a yellowed wood, and sorry I could not travel both. Robert Frost.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good. And so that sits above my desk. And the first, Roland put it up on a Wednesday, and that Friday I had a young lady come in. And I used that painting, and that young lady chose life through that story. So
Yeah. Well, it's got a pretty little, if you really have to look for it now, it doesn't pop out at you. You have to look at the painting, but it's got a going down one road. It's a pretty little garden with flowers and everything in it. And I think that's your life road.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And so there are so many things. And if I think when a young person particularly is pregnant, they become very scared. They don't know where to turn. And quite often, parents are not particularly helpful because they're mad, if nothing else, how this happened, right? And so they need to have someone to talk to. And the fact that you and your staff are there to talk to them and just listen sometimes is some of the most healing stuff that you can do for somebody.
I appreciate that. And it's our privilege to do so.
Right. Now tell us about that Healing Hearts, because that's a little group that you have going. And, back in the day, having an abortion was what you did if you didn't think you could have it. And you were talking about Kelly there.
Yes, well, it's, I have a friend who's 80 years old, and she was told it was a clump of cells. And that's what you were told, and that's what we were, that's what we were taught. And so Kelly came to volunteer, and through volunteering, a part of volunteering, if you've had an abortion, is going through a healing class. And Kelly said, I think I need to teach other women about this because it affected her in such a positive way. And I think if Kelly were sitting here tonight, she would want you to know that the name of the book that they go through, the Bible study they go through, it's 7 weeks long. It's very private, and they meet with her alone. It's called Forgiven and Set Free. Mm-hmm. I love that, set free. So you're set free from the shame and the guilt of that.
And how many women of, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 are walking around with that guilt?
Yes. Well, yes. Millions.
Yeah.
And men. In fact, we just had a young man volunteer to possibly lead up a group to talk with men or meet one-on-one with men about the healing that comes along with that, because so many men have taken someone for an abortion. Mm-hmm. And they feel that shame and that guilt every day.
Right.
Yes.
So it is. And the other thing I just want to touch on real quick is, the abortion pill is really it is a horrible, horrible way to have to suffer, and women suffer alone with this and this type of thing. And don't you also don't you have the progesterone pill that can reverse it?
Yes, so that we call it the abortion pill reversal. The way a young lady finds out about it is there's an 800 number. Usually when they Google reverse my abortion, the number comes up. It's a nurse hotline, telehealth hotline, and they hook them up to our director, medical director, Dr. Goldstein. He calls in a prescription for progesterone. So the first medication they take wipes out the progesterone in the uterus, and if we can get in there soon after they've taken that and flood the body with progesterone, it could save a life. And we've done that. We've written 26 prescriptions in the past 6 years. So that is the first. I was there a month, and we did that, and it was the first one that Crossroads had done, and that's really what hooked me, was that somebody was so close to dying, and yet you clean up and you show up, and you're able to save a life. And his name is Oliver, and we named our bedroom, it's not a bedroom, but the house used to be a house, and so our ultrasound room is a bedroom, but we put Oliver on the door, like where it's Oliver's room, where the ultrasound room is. Right. Yep, we named that room after Oliver.
Yeah. Well, I just think a lot of people should know that number one, it's a horrible, horrible way to get rid of a life, for lack of a better way to say it, and that a lot of girls, I don't think, realize what it does to your body and how scary that can actually be. Mm-hmm. But that if you do go down that road and you're having second thoughts about it, there are ways to stop it.
Yes, Ann, and thank you so much for bringing that up. I didn't bring my whole list, but that is something that is really heavy on the staff's heart. When we get that call, we are all on alert, because right. we're all in to try to save that little baby's life. and help the mother. The mothers really suffer a lot from guilt afterwards.
Absolutely.
And a part of that, them seeing us and coming in, is just helping to heal from that too, and just, yeah, the girls that we've worked with, I hear it over and over again. I can't believe I did that. And I said, listen, you got to concentrate on this baby. This baby's great.
Right.
Yep.
You got to live in the present and the future.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you can't dwell on the past. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you here. We had a comment come on in Facebook Live. Thank you for caring for others physically and spiritually, Brenda.
Oh, well, thank you for commenting. How kind.
Absolutely. So this, as we have been live right here on the radio, we've been live on Facebook, and you'll be able to go back and listen to this, watch it if you'd like, share it. It'll be on our Facebook page. It will also go onto our website, WCRS1450am.net. One of the things that I love about this show that I do is you never know what you're going to get. We talk about everything on this show, and I always try to actually pride myself in making sure that we keep it varied and interesting for everybody. And everybody, I think, has the opportunity to learn something on this show.
Well, if I could just put a shout out for Ann, if she ever asks you to come on your show, don't be afraid. It really is a lot of fun. The first time I was a little nervous, but tonight I've been looking forward to this, Ann, because you make it very fun. And I'm not going to say the whole thing's name over there, but can they see? Can they
Not
see
right
her?
Right now. I mean, no, because I got the camera on you. I got to get another camera so I can flick to her.
I begged to have PENNY in the room while I did
She's
my
a
interview.
comfort girl, right? Yeah.
She is. Is she a cockapoo?
No, she's a full-blooded poodle. I
She's
just
a
like her. I like
full-blooded
her.
poodle. Oh,
Got like this, yes.
She woke up and told me that I could have her in the room if I promised not to get her wound up. So
That's
I've
right.
done very well.
She fell out of the chair yesterday. So, yeah, so anyways. But it's been fun being here. Want to remind you, tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the show. Actually, I think he's coming on at 10 o'clock, I think, or is he no, he's coming on at 9:30. 9:30, we're going to have Representative Joe Wilson on the show. He was, used to have him right here on WCRS. He's not our representative, but he is a representative for the state of South Carolina. You may remember, he's the famous guy that said, you lie. And I'll leave it at that. But he's going to be with us here tomorrow morning. Who knows? We'll be talking about Iran. We'll be talking about all different issues. Certainly hope you tune in to see that. Brenda, thank you so much for being here. Would you like to say anything in closing?
I think I'm done.
You're done.
Oh, the
You're
art
done.
center, the art
Walk is going on now.
tonight. Yes. So Ann and I are trying to decide if we're going to go or not. I really think I might, but I don't know if Ann's going to.
I don't know. I might have to spend a little time with Penny. But anyways, it is a fun night. The also going on over there at the G. Frank Russell Technology Center is open house till 7 o'clock. The art walk's going on. The Petty tribute concert is going on. It's the first Live After 5 program going on at the market up there in Uptown Greenwood. Lots going on and a beautiful night to have it. So that's going to do it for us. Brenda, thanks so much for being with us this evening. Curtains going down. Music will come up. This is just like a regular TV production here. Hey, that's going to do it for us. See you in the morning. Bye-bye, everybody.